Hey everyone, Eric Nelson here once again, and thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. For today, I will be doing another book review on Billierosie's Rebellious Slave. Now, to get right into the book, even though that this is an 18-page story, I think that it actually goes a lot quicker than that because right on the very first page, it describes in great detail the pain and suffering of what is the title character, the rebellious slave. And no, it's not a woman. It's not a black person. It's actually a 6 foot 4 inch white male who is heavily muscular with the muscles on top of muscles, and his slave owners are actually women, but not women who are physically overpowering, but I'd say they are just ordinary women with huge sexual features that would be considered to be sexy. So how do they overpower them? Not by mentally. Well, at least some of it is mental. However, a lot of it is done by physical, because even though most of the slave hole is under the leadership of women, they also have some male workers there who help keep them who physically keep them under control. But of course, they also got the traditional ball and the traditional ball and chains. So I know I have been talking a lot about a lot about the actual a lot of the a lot about the actual background to the actual story, but that's actually because I really admire how the author, who is Billierosie, how she goes into so much great detail about the setting. And even though it is a short story, she goes into great detail on the setting, and she provides a lot of good examples on the descriptions of the setting. And so in a way, that actually kind of makes us feel like we are really there, as if she's taking us on an actual personal tour of the place. So now the actual plot line is about the actual title character, whose name is Reuben, and he is a slave. And while he was a slave, well, he's an imprisoned slave, because he was having affairs outside of the slave hole. And then while he was imprisoned, he apparently in the slave hole, it's against the law to have a sexual relationship with a female slave. So and she's a mistress of the prison, but in a way she seems almost like a warden. So in my mind, I call her the warden of the place. And she and the slave girl, who is Melissa, they have a conversation about what to do with the rebellious slave, who is actually named Reuben. And the mistress, or the warden, Claudia is her name, they think about selling him. And what happens after that? Well, since it's a short story, I really can't go into a lot of actual detail. But what is my main conclusion of this short story? I love it a lot, and not just because it's full of sexual innuendo, but it's very descriptive, and as I said, it on page one, it goes right into the pain and suffering of a sex slave, and I like how Billierosie actually made it look like male sex slaves aren't really having a great time, because as males we see us being sex slaves to women, probably as like, oh well, all we have to do is just have sex with them. All right, well, no, in this world, which is probably more realistic than in our male fantasy world, they are not just having sex with them. Well, if they are, it's not very pleasurable, because in between all that, they are constantly whipped, they are being starved, they cannot go to the restroom, and they are only given a limited amount of water. So where's the energy to have sex? And while they're having sex, well, I would have to read a little bit exactly how they have sex, but it's not the traditional way of having sex. So if now now of course I don't really think about being a sex slave on a daily basis, but guys, if you were to read this and if you were to ever have a fantasy about being a sex slave, it probably won't be the same. But despite that, it's a really great short story, and you can get this anywhere, including the Amazon the Kindle, like how I did. And I hope to see you all at the bookstore or the iBookstore.